Paladins coming off of a 37-3 win over VMI to clinch the program's first outright Southern Conference championship since 1990 and the 15th conference title overall. Furman remains number 2 in the 2 major FCS polls this week, the coaches poll and the media poll, with 1 regular season game remaining. That is at Wofford this coming Saturday at noon. More about that as we go through today's press conference. Joining Coach Hendricks at the podium, linebacker Dan Skiana, tight end Mason Pline. And as we normally do, we'll ask Clay to make an opening statement, and then we'll let Jay Jacobs ask today's first question. Coach?
Well, thank you, Dan. Again, appreciate you guys being here. Certainly thrilled to get a win Saturday, secure outright conference championship, which has been our team's goal, or one of our team's goals from the very beginning. And, been a challenging road, but certainly nice to be able to get that done at home. I'll play really first half. I don't know, maybe as complete as we played in all 3 areas. You know, I did go back and look. We played 85 kids got in the game Saturday. I don't know if we've been a part. I'm not counting that number a lot, but I'm not sure we've ever had 85 guys take part in the game. So I think it was good. You know, certainly the way we played defensively. First half, and had a chance, not only that, to get some guys out of there. When I look through just the number of plays guys have played. So hopefully that'll benefit us this week and even down the stretch, you know, from a little bit of help. Certainly getting those young guys in the game. They'll practice better this week, just because of the opportunity to get in there. And, you know, we told them, you know, they'll learn to get in there. It's a little different game than out there at practice. And so, you know, tons of guys playing the first time ever in a college game. But, you know, they'll be a little better the next time they get in there. And again, that'll be something that will help our team. But, again, just really thrilled. We're getting the win. Carson Jones, I don't make predictions. I thought he would play well. A lot of confidence in him. And, you know, we probably saw what we thought we would see, where they were going to try to, you know, pack him in there and make us throw the football, which I felt really comfortable about us doing. And, he certainly did a good job. They gave us a lot of different looks and some things he had to sort through. Justin Roque did a great job preparing him, as all our staff did on both sides of the ball. And just all around a good day for us. And I'm certainly excited to go play a really good Wofford team. It's been really close to winning a number of games. So we'll have to be on the very best to go to Spartanburg and win this week. But with that, any questions?
Coach, this was your 50th win. How does it feel being a part of 244 Furman triumphs over the last 30 years?
Well, I didn't know that really kind of till Hunter. I saw that in Hunter's deal. I don't know. The best way to answer that is I've been forced to be around some really good teams. I've been a part of some really good teams as a player, as an assistant, and as the head coach at Furman. And that's been a blessing to be able to do that. But that's about it. You know, I might have had as little to do with that game Saturday as any of those 85 and our staff. But no, I'm just fortunate we could win another championship. Those things are hard to come by over a long period of time. And again, I've been around some really good. I've been part of some really good teams.
Coach, again, another outstanding defensive performance. You've been outstanding this year. Did you expect to be this good defensively this season?
I thought we had a chance to be really good. I thought depth. I thought we could rush the passer. We knew we had to be better covering, and we have been. I think, you know, other than early in the year giving us some explosive plays, it's something we really addressed. No, we've stayed pretty healthy. You know, didn't have Micah Robinson Saturday. We'll get him back. You know, get Travis back healthy. You know, but just the ability to rush the passer and do some different things. There's a lot of things kind of go into that, but I certainly knew, you know, leadership-wise, and you know, our coaches do. We got a good scheme. You know, we're an aggressive group. I know this just, you know, I still spend most of my time on offense, and in practice we're not real fun to practice against, you know, in those team settings. But I think that's helped us too on really both sides of the ball. And now I'm not surprised if we're playing well over there, and hopefully we can continue that trend.
Mason, this being your first year at Furman, how is it compared to where you came from, Ferris State? And in that, how has Furman maybe used you a little bit different than you were used previously to Furman?
Yeah, the biggest difference for sure is just the overall offensive scheme. At Ferris, we were kind of a spread triple option. My role for the most part was short yardage run block, goal line run block type of player. And here just kind of been able to expand on it, more pro style offense and using a variety of ways. So just the overall offensive scheme is the biggest leap, and everybody on offense and the coaches have done a phenomenal job getting up to speed. Still got a lot to learn, but they've done a phenomenal job of that so far.
Mason, piggybacking off that a little bit, this team has a lot of senior leadership. How does a new guy who's still a senior provide leadership? And also, to that end, as we get near the playoffs here, can you impart anything on, you're obviously the most experienced guy on the team when it comes to postseason because you won 2 national titles. How can any of that help you bring a leadership role, even though you're kind of a new guy still?
Yeah, I would say just lead by example. Just make sure we're not taking anything for granted. One of my old coaches and friends, he said something to me a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me, and it's everything you do is intentional. So no matter if it's a bye-week practice or if it's you're prepping for the national championship game, everything's intentional that you're doing. If it's you're at dinner, what you're eating, it's intentional what you put in your body. So just keeping the guys, everybody poised and composed. I would say the biggest thing, don't think the moment's too big for you, and you're here for a reason. So just doing what we've done all season.
Bear with me then. Mason, you obviously can pick them. You played on 2, that's it. You wanted to come grad transfer and have a remarkable career. How did this all happen? What kind of evaluation did you do? How did you wind up at Furman? I mean, congratulations. You probably should. Somebody should draft you who wants to improve because it's been a great ride for you.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be on some really good teams at Ferris, and then obviously here we're doing very well. But the whole process, I had some offers entering the portal. Coach Verna ended up getting me down here on a visit, and really it was Coach Roper and Coach Verna that kind of won me over. Just the vision they saw me, how I fit into the offense, and what the team was bringing back this coming year. Clearly, they brought back some dudes. Our defense is, in my opinion, second to none in the country. And so just what we were bringing back and the role they saw me playing in the offense was really what kind of won me over. And like I said earlier, they've done a phenomenal job getting me up to speed on it. I have nothing but good things to say about it. So.
Oh, I'm gonna ask one for my namesake here.
Appreciate that.
As this season has gone on, Dan, the defense has gotten better. And, we've talked about talent, we've talked about depth, but it doesn't matter if it's a experienced quarterback like Michael Hires at Sanford or a rookie quarterback like we saw this week. Defense just goes out and does its thing. How has it all come together? And why are you getting better seemingly week after week?
I think honestly, it's just our identity. We found our identity. We've known our identity, but I think it's becoming more apparent. It's just stopping the run. As soon as we stop the run, then we're going to start punishing the quarterback as we've been doing it, and then we let our pass rushers go pass rush and our defenders go defend. So it works out well.
Coach, my red zone question, of course. You was able to go 4 for 4 this past weekend, and they only had one chance in there at the end just to get a field goal. What can you say about how your red zone performance has been all year as you keep gaining and keeping them out of it?
Well, I think we still keep going back to run the ball. And quite frankly, I look at our team right now. One thing we got to do better. There's some things we need to clean up in the run game, and I think we're leaving some yards, leaving some points out there. So I think we're kind of continue to be a work in progress. I think number of guys back there, get Dom healthy. Wayne's brought a little boost to that group. I think the running back group to get a little healthier. now mind what he's done. Kendall's been back now, and I think we maybe get Grant Robinson back in a week or two. So, I think that's kind of where we'll continue. You know, I mean, Mason made a pretty good play to help red zones. You know, he made that one-handed catch there to kind of get it going. So, you know, guys, when you get chances, get your hands on the ball. You know, I wish we'd have, probably should have scored I guess after Danny's pick. Well, first of all, I wish Danny had run it in, and he wouldn't have to do that. But you know, we ran if I remember, I ran a boot over there, and you know, should have hit him sooner. He was open, and you know, I think we went back to him a little bit late. We ended up having to kick a field goal. You know, but we're kicking the ball well, got a lot of confidence in that, and but again, I think it's still a combination of doing it, continue to mix up what we do, but again, when you can run the ball, that certainly helps, solves lots of problems.
So Dan, coming off the loss at Incarnate Word last year, and almost everybody coming back, is there a sense of, not necessarily urgency, but expectations again this year about what you could accomplish and maybe with either in the playoffs this year?
Absolutely, and I think that's kind of comes back to our culture. You know, we have a winning culture and group of guys. There's not a guy on the team that I wouldn't die for. So they're all great guys, but you know, I think just the culture is what meets the expectation. The expectation is we're going to win, but it's in our preparation as well. So we prepare to win and we expect to win.
Dan, kind of piggybacking off that question, the UIW game, I know you lost a heartbreaker, but what changed about this team coming into this season? Was it maybe that you found out that you actually could do what you believed you could do, and that is, you know, compete with the best of the best in this case?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that was definitely a confidence booster, but I mean, it was a darn shame that we lost. And it was an expectation factor. As soon as we, you know, lost that game, I remember the locker room. I mean, we all looked at each other in the eyes, you know, the fifth-year guys, fourth-year guys, and we're like, you know what, this isn't gonna be our last game. We got some hunger, we can do this, and we're gonna go do it. So, absolutely.
Dan, what is how does the defense with, I think a lot of people say 22 starters, how does everybody stay unselfish? Because that's a big part of the success. I mean, obviously you want to do, you turn about your time, you want to, that probably motivates you when you do get out there.
Yes, sir.
But how does everybody stay that unselfish to make it work?
I mean, it comes back to our culture again. I just think everyone embraces their role, and when they get that role or get that opportunity, they make the most out of it. And it's just like every guy knows their role, and they do a darn good job of representing their role, especially when they're out there.
That works both ways. I think one of the remarkable things about this team on both sides of the ball, with all the number of people who play, is that there's such a diversity. So many receivers catch the ball. So many people rotate and have sacks. And there has to be a real buy-in, because there's not any place for big numbers except in a pair of positions. And so, is that just a consequence of being through this system so long and learning each other and learning what it takes to win? Clay?
Well, I think, you know, you got that team word, you know, I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's what, I think the team's more important than individual stuff. And again, that's just been the buy-in, and, you know, we have a really unique kid here. I think he's bought into the education. He's bought into the challenges that come with going to school here. You know, I don't know, and I think you get enough of those kinds of guys around each other. And, you know, you don't win every game, but you're a hard group to beat, even when you don't win every game. And so I think it's just kind of the makeup of our young man and our staff. You know, they've done a phenomenal job. And yeah, I think we got good schemes on both sides of the ball. And as I say, we're not the most talented, but we have talent. You don't win a championship without having talent. You can win some games, but you know, we certainly have talent. I think it's like I said, a unique mixture of kids and personalities, but the buy-in's all the same. And again, it's been a formula, and certainly when you win games, it's a little easier to sell that formula to guys, and I truly think guys understand that's had a lot to do with our success.
Clay, what's been your relationship in general with kickers over your career? And then specifically, what turned Ian around. I mean, he was struggling early, and now all of a sudden he's made 8 in a row, starting with that important one at Western Carolina.
Well, I was an offensive line coach forever, so, I don't know, I always felt like I had a pretty good relationship with kickers, and, even my time here as the head coach, we've been fortunate, we've had really good kickers, we've kicked the ball, punted the ball well. We've got a really unusual situation with Ian and Axel, and we've tried to let it play out for 2 years, and they just were both so solid. And I mean, quite honestly, with Ian, Ian's about as steady as they come, about anything. He stays out of the highs and lows. I think even when he missed a couple of kicks, he hit them pretty good. He just, he missed one, there were a couple of longer ones. And it's, you don't remember a lot of the big ones you make, you remember the ones you missed. But he's got a lot of confidence right now. And again, I wouldn't hesitate from 60 yards and kick a field goal. There's some conditions certainly could play in there, weather or wind or part of the game, but from an ability to do it, I wouldn't even think twice about it. That not having to cover as many kickoffs as we do. We cover them, but not having to tackle because he gets many touchbacks, that's huge. He's a backup punter. Just been really solid.
Dan, the defense has 33 sacks going into the 10 games, the most recorded in regular season. Tell us a little bit about how you're doing on those.
I think it just goes back to our identity again, just stopping the run, and as soon as we do that, we're able to attack the pass rusher, so Coach Vaughn's able to put us in the right call for the defensive backs to cover people, and then obviously for the defensive linebackers, if we're blitzing, to kind of tee off on the quarterback. So that definitely helps when you're in a passing situation, those second and longs, third and longs, you can tee off on the quarterback.
Coach, you pay much attention to the polls and playoff projections at all?
Not really. I mean, I'm a voter, as I've said, so I do try to put a little bit of thought into it, each week. Looking at scores, kind of looking at matchups, those type things. And I keep mine I've got them from the weeks before, so I kind of pay attention to that, just so I feel like I'm kind of doing my due diligence. Projections, what's that matter? I know this, we're in a good spot. We got pretty good control over about where we can be, and does it matter and where you're located and the path you're gonna be set on? Absolutely. That's why this game's huge for us. Like Saturday was huge for us, for certainly winning an outright conference championship. And I actually think it's been pretty cool to have that. Maybe you'd have a game that maybe wouldn't mean as much in the grand scheme. We had to win it outright last week. Our kids want to go undefeated in our conference. We haven't really talked about it, but I know that 10 games in the regular season haven't been won around here very many times. I was gonna say 3 or 4, and I remember a couple of those. Hard to do, and so I think those are things you want to do. And then certainly, I'd love to have a chance to be here every week, because I told our team Sunday, we got 2 games. We got 2 games scheduled, and we've done enough to get to play another game. But lots of different things can go into that. But I've certainly paid attention to it, and I have a lot of confidence in other people in our conference too, and I certainly take that into account as a voter. But otherwise, we got a big game. One of our goals is our so-called state championship. We feel like we can beat the other 2 teams in our league in this conference, and we got a chance to have a pretty good year. So we got a bunch of stuff we want to play for this week.
Coach, now that you have won the outright SoCon title, and having that out of the way, does this somewhat narrow the focus going into the final game of this regular season, and how does maybe that winning that game last week help your focus for this?
Well, one of the things I told our team last week, I had hoped, I know a little bit of sense, maybe more so offensively than defensively, but maybe even a little bit defensively, is just playing a little freer, just cut it loose. And I thought we played that well, played that way. I thought we had a really good week of prep, cause that's what it comes down to. What kind of prep do you have? We had a really good week of prep. I thought our guys, I mean, you could just kind of sense it in the way we started the game. So yeah, you hope we can cut it loose and, we're gonna get to play again regardless. But we also, there's, we got other things we wanna do. Our guys are really bright. You don't have to spell it out, for them. But I hope they do. I hope they go cut it loose. Hopefully they'll get a chance to go play better.
Coach, I hope I'm not asking the same thing that was just asked twice in a different way, but it's interesting how different championships are, because last SoCon champions here is 2018. You got snubbed for the playoffs. You go in that final game with Mercer that year, having to win to get a share of the title, and then holding into like 16 or something to get the title bid. So you missed out on the playoffs by 14 points, basically. And then the last outright champion here in 1990, well, they won the outright title, but they had to go on the road right from the get-go. And it seems like a pretty safe bet that you're gonna play again at Paladins Stadium this year. Not putting the cart before the horse or anything like that, but just how much different is it to not have the pressure maybe you had 5 years ago, or whatever, going into this finale?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're sitting here a year ago. They were coming in here and I thought we played really well. Defensively, we did play really well early. That's certainly big. I think I remember that day. We were also score listening because we needed a little help. I think we found out by halftime we got the help, and then, the tiebreaker was all screwed up where they counted everybody. If it had just been the 3 teams, we would have won it. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that, you'd like to just go play and free up a little bit. I hope so. I hope we play kind of that way anyways. But that when I heard that about 90 last week, I really didn't remember that. I think the first maybe 6 that I was a part of here, player threes, I think they're all outrights, and then there hadn't been one since. I think maybe we got sent to East Kentucky first round, played really well, and then we go to Nevada and play in I think maybe like a triple overtime game. No, like I said, it's, I don't think, again, it just goes back to the process, because at the end of the day, we gotta go practice well. We have good practice yesterday, we'll come back tomorrow, and it's just day by day. But maybe in the back of my mind, does that free him up a little bit? I don't know. Maybe, I hope so.
Now that it's done, and you've won those games, do you think that you're a better team because you had to win those 3 big games on the road?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the other thing, and Scott brings this up about the, with the home or away, I think our kids are the same, It's a nice big bed on Friday night, maybe so, yeah, and the whole crowd, yeah. But I just think our kids are the same, and I think that's been a big plus for us. I mean, kind of on tape, and I watch them within our, just as we get ready for this opponent, and the opponent last week, I watched the video 2 weeks ago. I thought they should have beaten Chattanooga. I thought they outplayed them, and it's just, but it's all about every week. You just gotta line up and go play. But I think, we'll probably play our best football early in the year, but we found a way to defense cover for the offense cover a little bit for the defense, play good in the kicking game, and then kind of got playing better. There were a couple injuries throughout there, and then obviously even with Carson last week, stepping in 2 weeks ago. Again, just good thing to find a way to get it done, and that's really just kind of the goal.
It's kind of a 2 sides of the same coin question directed to you, Coach, and then for both of the players. But we start talking about 13 conference wins in a row and a chance to go 8-0 and all of the things that haven't been done since 88. I mean, that's some pretty elite company for this team to be in. You were here, so would like you to speak to it, and then for the players, how aware are they of the sense of the history of this program and kind of the territory that you're walking in right now?
Well, they hear from me, and I know, I think one of my responsibilities for them to understand that, so I bring that up. I give them a little bit of history lesson from time to time, but, you know, really until the last few weeks, and I saw some of Hunter's with his notes about, you know, like, you really hadn't thought about that very much in some ways, you know, you won many road games. But I do remember those times, you know, and, where we had a great run going. I said we went in 88, 89. I thought it was still one of the best teams to ever play here. We lose in the snow out here in the semifinals. Coach Spangler and I will still argue about, they wanted us to win at Georgia Southern, so we could have played them in Statesboro the next week. But that run, you know, that run was pretty cool. You know, I told somebody the other day, and heck, man, enjoy it. Because I promise you, it doesn't last forever. You know, it's a, and you go back and look at it, man, it's been challenging, you know, it's been challenging, but I think you actually appreciate it a little bit more when it's that way. It'll be something to remember later on. You know, don't give it a lot of thought right now, because it doesn't matter. You know, it really doesn't matter now. We gotta go win this week. Go play well, but, I don't think some people maybe realize how hard it is to do. I know how hard it is. You know, shoot, I guess it's the old, you know, some point he'll land, some point, I guess it's the old Pete Rose analogy when I asked him when the hit streak ended. I remember what he said. He said, "Are you kind of relieved?" He said, "No, I'm pissed off that it's ended," you know, and that's probably how I'll be whenever it does. So we're just trying to enjoy it right now when we can, and, you know, we're just trying to go win a game this week.
Mason, with the young quarterback coming in last week, and we saw in Noah at Chattanooga, any different approach with him getting a full game and what you were able to accomplish on Saturday?
Not really. I mean, we've kind of all seen it in practice, like as the year's gone on. He's gotten better and better every single week. You know, he's run our 2-minute offense drill on Wednesdays every other week, and it's like Coach Roper said, it's for a reason. You know, for that reason that happened at Chattanooga. So we've seen him. He's a very accurate thrower. We've seen it all year, and he just continues to get better and better. So I was not one bit surprised at all. He's a good player, and he's going to continue to get better. So.
Dan, you had your second interception of the season last week. When guys are getting pressure up front so much on the quarterback as they did Saturday, how easy or how hard is that to learn to anticipate where you might throw the ball and to be in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, if we're in man coverage, it's obviously a lot easier when the ball comes out a lot quicker. You can play more aggressive on that man, so that definitely helps when our pass rushers are making that quarterback, first of all, leery of getting sacked or hit, and then also getting it out as fast as you can. So that definitely helps in the coverage aspect.
Clay, some thoughts about Wofford?
Yeah, I mean, you know, really big win for them Saturday down in Citadel. Tough. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit of the intensity of that game just when you watch it on tape. Golly, you just go through their season. Man, they have their break or two from winning a number of games. You know, they're an old football team. I mean, really, when you look at them, really premature. Had some quarterback injury issues early. Young guys come in and played a lot. I think the old guy left the game the other day early in the game, so kind of know what that stays. Have a good running back. I think really good scheme defensively. You can tell they're well coached. Kids are playing hard. And, I mean, golly, that's the things I would always look at. And, you know, rivalry game. So, you know, this will be it for them. And I'm assuming it's senior day over there. So, you know, there'll be a bunch of kids playing their last game against us. I'm sure they'd love nothing more than to play well against us. So you know, we certainly need to be ready to have a great week of prep, and I absolutely expect our team to have a great week of prep and go play well, because we certainly got a lot riding on this one as well. So.
This may not be the most appropriate time to ask this, but one of the things of the last few weeks across the board is that this veteran team, so many deep returnees, has managed to develop a lot of depth of young players which which will make it a lot better in the future, because if experience is the bedrock of this team, then the experience that's been gained coming up will be a significant factor next year, I see.
Well, I think I said it last week, you think about Carson, and again, I told you when I was asked after August, who was maybe the most improved is not the right word, but just a guy that maybe had stood out, and just taking his game to a different level or a new level, was him after August. You look at what Colton's done out of receiver. I mean Carson to him for the first touchdown in Chattanooga, bunch of good, Ben Ferguson's developed, but there's a lot of those guys, just, for our program, we need to be I think we've recruited well. I think we've done a really good job in retention, and I think our guys have done a really good job developing players. And it's coaching them every day. They get put in really tough situations. I'll tell you this, and maybe in my 30th season at Furman, in some capacity, maybe the best scout groups we've ever had here. We got kids, they bought into that. They know that's a developmental time for them. And I really think that's had a lot to do with our development. I know, we had some huge challenges a year ago just because we didn't have enough linemen, offensive linemen to give our defense a great look. And so I think all those things have been really big for us. And I think there'll be a bunch of guys that'll pop up that you didn't know much about, but they've been getting a bunch of reps through practice in different situations. And we're a team that we're a program that wants to play with older kids. And if we can plug a Mason in there or a couple of guys that can help us, but we still need to be a development program.
Before we wrap up, Tom is normally the quintessential broadcast partner, but he didn't allow the players to answer the second part of that question.
You gotta jump in there, guys.
To coach. So before we wrap it up, Dan and Mason, just your sense or how much you actually know about the history of this program and kind of what you guys are doing right now in comparison to that.
Absolutely. Coach definitely does a good job of keeping us up with our Paladin history, that's for sure. But I would definitely say just being in the same conversation with the 88, 89 teams is an honor. And, we know what they've done, and, that's honestly one heck of a ring to go chase. So that's pretty cool to be in the same conversation now.
We have phenomenal leaders on this team, and they do a good job of, making sure we're present state of mind, knowing what's at stake, but also, what the immediate goal is in front of us. And like Dan said, like those 88, 89 teams that I talked about a lot, it's a privilege to be mentioned in the same conversation as them. And we've had some former players come back earlier in the season from those older teams and talk to us. And it's just an honor to be in that same conversation. But we have phenomenal leaders on this team that make us very aware of where we're at and what we need to do to keep going. So,
Coach, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I just, again, excited to get a chance to go play in week 15 of the season in the FCS world. And there'll be at least a week 16, but certainly this week's huge for us. And again, we're just going to try to go day by day. And today our guys are off largely, and we'll come back tomorrow and need to stack a few good days together and have to go. It'll be a fight over there on Saturday, so we need to be ready for it.
Well, it's a noon kickoff Saturday in Spartanburg, and that game will be available on ESPN+. The radio broadcast will begin with the Pepsi Countdown to kickoff at 10:30 on 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 in Spartanburg, and everywhere on the Odyssey app via the Fan Upstate. Love to have a huge crowd over there. If you can't make it, we've got you covered from a broadcast standpoint for number 2 Furman and Wofford to close out the regular season. And then Hunter Reed, I'm correct in saying the selection show is the next day, correct?
It'll be on ESPNU, I believe, at 1:30.
ESPNU, early afternoon, he says about 1:30. We'll get some confirmation, follow our social media here at Furman for that. That'll take care of things here today. For Coach Clay Hendricks, Dan Skiana, Mason Klein, thank you all very much. I'm Dan Scott, saying God bless you. So long, everybody. This has been a Hunter Reed, Jeff Schetzel production.